Mike, I gotta ask you, where are you located? Oh, I know where you're located. I can tell today.
Yeah, you can tell. I'm at home this week.
It's
But not
obvious.
next week.
Oh,
Next week it's Miami.
Oh, it's Miami time already?
Miami time.
What?
And you know what I think I'm going to do? I was looking, this is mine in April, just kind of getaway and type thing. So
Yeah.
we were talking about doing like a sunset cruise thing.
Oh.
And then I looked, I think I'm going to charter, it's not like a, some mega yacht, but it's a yacht thing.
You're gonna do a yacht?
Just the two of us.
That dude, you need a drone. You need a drone. You need to do the drone footage where you're like, there's you in April, and all of a sudden the drone like pans out. You're holding your drinks.
We'll stand on the helm, king of the world.
Yeah, exactly. That's awesome.
Yeah, she doesn't know anything about it.
Oh, okay. So you want me to message her and tell her what's coming? No, that's awesome, man. And how long are you going there for? You said, was it a week?
Yeah, a week.
Look at you. Look at you. I feel like we're always in this beach competition. By the way, how was your weekend?
My weekend was actually awesome.
Really? You got a story.
On a whim, we decided to go to two places. One of my favorite places, Harris Cherokee Casino.
Okay, all right.
And then we went up to Gatlinburg to
nice.
Get some drinks that my wife likes up there. So.
Yeah, that's a nice place.
Yeah, it was really just a really long day trip, but it was cool.
Yeah, they have a nice little town in there, right by the railroad tracks.
Yeah.
Am I right?
It's awesome. Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's just really cool. So that was something we did literally, very spontaneous.
Nice. That's always fun.
I saw you were at the pool. Did you make it to the beach this weekend?
I didn't. Can you imagine? I didn't even make it to the beach this weekend.
Oh my god!
I actually, I was like, okay, since Mike's not going to the beach, I don't have to go to the beach. Yeah, no, I literally didn't even go. I think, what did we do on Saturday? Oh, Saturday we had this barbecue, not a barbecue, but a hangout party at my buddy's place. So that was cool. Me and my family went to that, and then on Sunday, we kind of just chilled. We just chilled at home. My wife didn't really want to go out anywhere. She wanted to just, we were doing a lot of busier stuff in the week. She's like, how about we just chill around at home? Great idea. Let's go in the pool. So, yeah, so we ended up doing that. And my son's swimming now. My son is swimming. He's got he's got two floats here, and then he's got this chest float. But dude, he'll just sit there and he's like, Daddy?
How old is he now?
A year and a half.
He's still very young.
He's a year and a half.
What you do? Just throw him in the water? What you
do? Why is that bad? Is that too young? No, that's not young, is it? A year and a half in the water?
No, that's great.
Oh, okay.
That's great.
Yeah. I mean, interesting enough, he loves the water. My two other daughters didn't really like the water. He loves it. He runs into it, which is, dangerous. But he runs into it and then loves it. But he did take a spill. I was holding my second daughter in the water, and I was trying to teach her to swim, right? And she hates being let go. All of a sudden, I look over on my son is on the, cement area, and he takes a head dive into the pool. He's all, I'm like, shoot. So I drop my daughter. Run for my son.
Like to be let go.
And she doesn't like to be let go. She starts crying at the top of her lungs. My son is choking and drowning on water. I felt so bad. So I was just like, oh man, I can't do this. It's a lot going on. So anyway, it was a good time. We had a good time. Everybody's alive.
That's cool that he's learning to swim though.
Yeah, he loves it, man. I can't take him out of the pool. I can't take him out of the pool. And he doesn't like the beach though. Doesn't like the beach, freaks out. Kind of like his dad. Up until a few months ago.
He doesn't like the beach. Send him back.
Yeah, send him back. But overall, it was good. Yeah, it was really good. And while we're here, let's since we're saying hello to each other, let's just say hello to all our peoples. Hello. Hello. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Cash Flow Show. This is your hosts. Just in case you don't know, wait, hold on. Can you see my camera? Mike. And Nathan, you got to do the point, Mike. You got to point when I point. Yeah, that way. What's up, guys? All right, so we got a few Exciting things to talk about. We got some success stories we got to talk about, and we got a topic about organization in the business, which I got some updates on that. What should we do first, Mike? Should we flip a coin?
I think we should talk about what our people are doing.
I know. Let's talk about the people. It's true. All right. So off the top, I got my notes right here. Off the top, let's start with the top. We're going to talk about Adam. Adam. By the way, if any of these people that we're talking behind their backs are on, I always say that, or in front of your back, in front of you, behind you. If you're on, let us know. But yeah, Adam is actually, he sent out the contract to 2 buyers. I think there was a little bit of back and forth last week about this one, but now I think it's pretty solid, and which is great. It's got, there was a whole gate code issue. And
that's right. I remember that.
You
got around that.
We got around it. One question
creative thinking,
creative strategy. One thing that came up though with Donald, he said, "What would you do in a situation if there was a guard, like if there was gate guard? What would you do in that kind of situation?"
Drive. Just don't stop. Just drive.
That is the answer. Just keep driving.
That can be a little challenging. I mean, I know I've had it happen before where I've had to have the owner call the gate and say, "Hey, Mike McKenzie is an authorized person. If he says somebody can go through, they can."
Yeah. And,
I just said, "Hey, I've got people that's going to be coming through to look at the property for me. I got to get them in." And that worked. It gets a little bit more difficult. And that's something to think about when you're starting to bid on properties that has a guarded gate. Remember, that's going to be a challenge.
Yeah. Especially if you have multiple people going all at the same time, right? It's like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's going to be a fun show.
May shut you down quick.
Have you ever used a realtor to organize the gate and people going there? Has that ever happened to you? Because that was a thought that came up.
I've done it with houses. I haven't with land and a gate, but I've done it like getting people in houses. But in this business, it's not super uncommon to sell a property without people seeing it. I saw an investor buddy earlier this week that he had really good pictures of property and stuff, and the people bought it without ever seeing it.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true. Yeah, I mean, after a while, if you know what you're looking at. I remember this one piece of lot that I bought down in Florida a number of years ago. It actually was a lot, but it turned into a few more. But the reality is, I never saw it. I never walked the land until 6 years later. But I bought them. Yeah, so that happens. I've been there. So that's some good news there. Next, we'll jump over to Donald. Donald is closing on a deal tomorrow. He's got a deal tomorrow, which is nice. And
didn't he have deals last week?
He did, yeah. He had deals last week. He posted those. He had deals last week. He has deals this week. I think it's either 1 or 2 this week, and then he also has deals next week. And I made a joke about it to him in the group. I said, "Dude, you have a deal every week." It's really cool.
Cool problem to have.
Yeah, that's a good problem to have right there. One of them though, listen to this, Mike. I'll never forget this conversation where he asked me. He said, "Hey, I've been thinking about this specific state, right?" And I said, "Ooh, the state was
some
Midwestern state that you never hear everybody talk about unless there's something crazy going on." So, and I'm like, "Oh gosh," I'm like, "But you know what? At the end of the day, it's all about testing. It's all about testing the market." And lo and behold, boom, he's got deals closing in that area. Actually, he has 2 closing tomorrow. Thanks, Donald, for correcting us here. He's got 2 closing tomorrow, which is fantastic. And I think they're both in the same state. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it's kind of interesting because when he mailed in that state, he got a great response, or a decent response, and he's got deals closing there. So you never know until you test, right, Mikey?
Exactly. That's why testing is so important. And, there's a lot of markets, just because it's a market that doesn't appeal to you. Now, I always tell, students, work an area that does appeal to you, but there are areas out there that it's the same thing for me. I don't like desert land, but I've sold it before.
Yeah.
I don't understand the concept of, sitting in the heat on 40 acres with no power, no air.
Yeah, true.
But apparently people like that.
They're out there. I don't know why. Yeah, it's true. It's really interesting because it's funny. As many people as I talk to about those desert plots and stuff, they're not buying it for just tax purposes. They're buying it because like they want to use it. I'm like, for what? Like, what do you do out there? I don't know.
Sweat.
Yeah, sweat is right. That's so true. All right, the next one we have is Sarah, which is like she was on fire today. She had like, she's like, could you call me? Could you text me? She has a very unique situation where she has multiple buyers chomping at the bit to get on this property to submit their deposits and sign contracts. And that is basically what we're talking about. So, Mike, I have a question for you. Is in that kind of scenario where you have multiple buyers, what's the is there a golden rule? Is there like a rule of thumb that you follow when you have multiple buyers like chomping at the bit for a piece of property?
I try to be fair, and I try to I'll call for highest and best. And I don't let them know where they need to be or where the offer is.
Sure.
Right now, I say, you know what? I got some people I'm already selling at a discounted price. And a lot of times you'll get over ask. I've done that. I've gotten over ask on them.
Yeah.
But make sure you put like a definite deadline, like Tuesday, 5 p.m. You got to email me everything in, and then I'm going to send you a contract. And you got 1 hour. And to wire me money or whatever you're going to do.
Whatever you're going to do.
And then it goes to the next person.
That's a good threshold, man. That really is. You have to have those parameters. Otherwise, you start like running around like, who am I going to give this to? And it really comes down to whoever gets the deposit and the contract in first. I mean, at the end of the day, whoever is going to submit it first, let's go. And I know there's some times though, like you may feel like people may feel like, oh, this one may, not too sure about the words they said. But listen, at the end of the day, if it's two cash buyers, it's who's going to get the EMD in, who's going to get the contract in. If you have a cash buyer and a financed buyer, then maybe you want to consider your options and say, okay, what do I want to do, right? But the reality is that, it's time for me to go to bed. That's the reality. I just got a bedtime reminder. Why? I don't know. That's the reality. So yeah, that's great for Sarah, and so she should probably be closing that. She told me this morning that she'll probably be closing that in about 3 to 4 weeks. So that's a double digit deal for her. So which is fantastic. Wow. Was that 6 figures? I think it's a 6-figure deal. Five figures. Yeah, 5 figures.
6 figures. She's at $100,000.
Oh yeah. For her. Yeah. I've come to work for you. That's true. 5 figures. Yeah. And then we have good news too, but we also have Chad who closed a deal. That was just like recently though, right? That was like fresh.
Yeah, weeks ago. Yeah, it's fresh.
That's great. Another thing that's fresh is congratulations to Chad because he is the proud father of a baby daughter. Right, girl? I got that right? Yeah.
Girl.
Okay.
It's a girl.
Yeah. You know why? I just met a woman at the barbecue. They're having their first son, so I was kind of like cross referencing. So that's good. Oh, that's awesome. And so he had that deal. That you got any updates on that deal that you want to share?
Other than it closed out, he did pretty well on it. Nice. It ended up being a wetland property, so we didn't get quite as much as what he thought he would out of it, but he still had a good profit, and it's a good day for him.
That's good.
And he's looking at that area a little deeper now. Matter of fact, we may go on call next week because we got like a huge response for that area.
Oh, really?
So, it may be a time to do some blind offers or something in that particular area. Yeah. So, we're going to look at some things. He's just trying to get his sleeping schedule down right now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're telling me. And like, dude, my son had like serious eczema since he was born. And he went for a skin test, right? And they did like 16 tests on his arms, okay? And they finally found out that it's a milk allergy. Okay, so he's allergic to milk, cheese, whatever, everything with milk. And and so we didn't know. And then my wife's breastfeeding, so it's like, okay, here we go. So we had to work all that out. But when we found out it was the milk allergy, we cut everything out at all, everything, no milk at all, no dairy at all. And then we switched. Then we switched also medications, and it's completely, like, literally 99.9% gone, like almost no eczema, and which is fantastic, because it is not a fun thing. Like, every night he'd be crying and scratching and crying and scratching. It's just annoying. But there's nothing you can do. There's no cure for it. It is what it is. So it's not a very good feeling. But anyway, okay, that was news for the moment. Yeah. So am I missing any updates? Am I missing any success stories here this week? I think that was everybody.
I think it is.
I think so. Unless someone else has a surprise. Unless somebody watching has a surprise. Let us know. Let us know if we're missing anything. Let's transition into our topic. Let's transition to our topic of the night. What about organizing your real estate business? What's been your experience? I mean, I got stories, Mike, but what's been your experience?
Well, first off, I don't think you can see a whole lot in the background of my office. My office is a hot damn mess right now. I'll just be honest there. And this is what really, when I text you and said, hey, we got to talk about organization.
Yeah, you looked around and you're like...
I looked at my own desk, and I feel like I'm spinning my wheels and not getting anything completed.
Yeah.
Hell, I found a check in a pile of stuff.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Are you serious?
Right. It's not even, I ain't even opened it yet.
Oh my gosh, Mike. Oh my gosh.
That's terrible, isn't it? My organization's important. It's important.
I can't. You and your checks. Oh my gosh. Oh my god. I can't believe you haven't checked that. Dude, that's just too funny, because the whole check thing and the fact you have one sitting there and you're like, oh, a check.
Yeah, so I mean, God. but it does. I mean, I don't feel like I'm getting a lot of stuff accomplished, but I don't like the clutter. It's just clutter right now.
Yeah,
and it's just because, quite frankly, I've been coming in and out of town, and I just lay stuff on my desk, or other people lay stuff on my desk,
right?
And it's just not been touched.
Oh God!
But organization, I'll give you another point on organization. Is I've like jumbled up closings, or jumbled up talking to people about properties back in the day when I wasn't organized, because all that stuff starts running together. So how do you keep yourself organized?
Well, that's a great question. First of all,
have you found any checks or anything like
that? No. First of all, I just think that's hilarious. So. I'm sorry, man. It's just because you know how much we joke about the whole check thing. So hearing you say that is just priceless. So I'll give you an example though, because I had a little hoo-ha moment the other day on Friday. What was it, Friday? Yeah, Friday morning. I called to confirm a wire transfer. So the wire transfer, you call in, especially to avoid wire fraud. So I did a wire, not a check. So I called in and I started reading off the numbers to the escrow agent, and she's like, "Oh, that's not our numbers." And I said, "What do you mean? This is like, whatever title company, right?" She's like, "Oh no, I think you have the wrong number." And I switched the deals up, on which wire I was doing. I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize, calling the wrong people." And I was like, whoa, I can't let that happen again. And although it was just confirming wire details, it did bring up a red flag for me, because I was like, okay, I'm confirming wire details, not a big thing. If I was wiring money to the wrong person, that's a whole nother big issue.
That's huge.
Yeah, that's huge. So I would say this, for me personally, when I think about like papers or, documents and stuff, I think we've had this conversation before, where I've definitely gone digital. But there's a little bit more to that though, Mike. It's because you can have, like literally, I hate seeing this, but I literally have paper here on my desk, which is just horrible.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Yeah. But the reality is that you can have paper documents and literally have them everywhere, but also you can have digital documents and have them everywhere, right? So
yeah,
I've gotten really good at when something comes in, whether it's paper or digital, I label it right away. I make sure it goes into a folder. I label it right away. Now, I wasn't doing that up at like 2 years ago. This is very new for me. The whole digital, before I used to have, okay, all the most current documents are in my downloads. Okay, my music's over here, the real estate's here, this business is over there, and it was digital paper was everywhere. One thing I really trained myself to do is as soon as I download something, I must immediately label it if it's not labeled correctly, and then I drop it in. And I try to be good at that most of the time. And then every, 2 to 3 weeks, I go through my downloads folder. And Mike, I have OCD. I really do. Like, I didn't know what OCD was until recently. I had it as a kid. It was like on another level. I'll tell you some funny stories sometime. But I literally have this compulsion to like clean out my inbox, to make sure there's nothing in my downloads folder, that kind of thing. So that I think helps a little bit because it annoys me. And I would say the most important thing is to go digital. Like hands down in this business. Of course, I think we've talked about this before where you have a file cabinet, I think for your closed deals, right?
Yeah. I got one for but that's only for like a couple years, and then
couple years, yeah.
They get archived or whatever.
Yeah. Now, I do something similar. So the closing documents for all the transactions, they immediately go to my virtual office. Yeah, what'd you say? The CAD?
The accountant.
Oh yeah, they go to my virtual office, but I don't let them open it because obviously there's like gobs of paper, right? So they don't open it. They're not allowed to open up large amounts of documents, ones that feel thick. So then I forward it over to any destination I want. So if it's closing documents, it goes to my attorney in that specific state, or if it goes to storage, like a folder or a file cabinet for a few years, then it goes there. But the reality is mostly everything is digital. Yeah.
So with digital, like, and I know this is something I've just really done last year, like by going digital, what I like about it is that my cell phone, my smartphone communicates with my computer. So yeah. I've got those digital files with me wherever I'm at.
Absolutely.
So if I'm out, wherever, sitting on the beach or wherever,
yeah,
I can pull up a file and look at it if I need to reference it.
Yeah, and that's really important because, like, if you're on the go, like I haven't had the experience of, let me get back to the office and let me get back over here where my notes are. Notes with your notepad. Let me get over here because all the documents there. No, everything's digitally. And one thing I use, do you use a certain app for your scanning, or do you use something specific or anything?
Nothing real specific. I got a scan thing.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that now my computer, like I have an iPhone, but I don't use a Mac computer just because I'm used to regular laptops.
Okay.
But it still communicates. There's the software that still communicates just like if it was a Mac. But what do you think about things like Dropbox and things like that? Have you had experience with that?
Yeah, definitely. So I use two cloud drives. I use Apple. So I use Apple Drive on my phone.
Yeah.
And that one is my baby. Like that's the one where I'm like really careful about what I put into. It's like really super organized. Then Google Drive is my other, it's kind of like a junk drawer, but not really. It's like 80% organized. and and that one needs a little help because it's a little bit of years worth of folders. So I use both of those. If one is pretty much everything real estate is in my Apple, and then everything not real estate related is probably in my Google Drive, depending on what it is. The one really good thing about Google Drive is like Google Sheets, Google Documents. The live document thing is really good right now. So I know definitely for Excel files and stuff like that, I have to lean over to Google Drive. But I use both of them. I'm not a big Dropbox guy. I used to be, but man, I had so many clouds. I had like 6 clouds going on all at the same time.
Yeah.
And I literally just said, what am I going to use? And so I literally, I just narrowed it down to 2, and I don't use Dropbox anymore.
I use Dropbox more as a communication thing. If I've got a client that says, "Hey, can you Dropbox this stuff to me?"
Okay.
I'll do that.
Okay.
I don't keep a lot in it. But the other important thing in using these cloud-based things and Google Drives and things is, knock on wood, I've never had it happen. But if your computer crashes,
oh yeah,
you still got your stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's like the best part about it. And I remember that day for me, Mike, when that happened. I was using a Toshiba laptop, right, back in the day, and the computer just shut off, and I didn't know what happened. It was the hard drive, and I had lots of documents. At the time, I was a mortgage broker, and I lost everything. Done. They couldn't even recover it. I don't even remember what the issue was, but they said something like it burned out or something. I can't remember. They could not even recover the hard drive that was on there. And I was like, wow, that's horrible. Luckily, everything was also submitted to the company I was working for at the time as a broker. But yeah, that was a horrible situation. Not fun. Not fun.
Right.
That's why it's important to have these cloud drives. I was going to also mention something about more organization for cloud drives. Sorry, it just spaced my mind. But Sarah mentioned, she says, Mike, I have done that so many times in my entertainment business. I found $200 to $300 cash in my pocket, glove compartment, backpack multiple times. I'm a mess.
Yeah. There you have it.
Yeah,
it's a good feeling to find that stuff.
Yeah, it is a good feeling. But I will tell you this, though, speaking of the topic of organization, I've done a few videos about this recently, and that's been like going digital. Like I've been talking about going digital since 2016. I really started this journey of, I sold, gave away, or donated my physical books, like reading books. And I used to have a bunch of audio books and programs. I sold or donated them or gave them away or whatever. And I moved everything digital. Well, one of the things I've been doing recently is 2 things. One, I've been reducing the amount of things I own. Have I ever showed you that video, the 100 things I own?
I don't know if you have or not. I know that you're big about trying to reduce stuff that you own.
Yeah. So I'm like under 100 items. And literally, no joke. Like I own, okay, not including clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, not including clothes. I'm under 100 items. And then lastly, the newest thing for me is going digital. Like I don't carry a wallet. That's like my newest thing. So a wallet with cards or cash. I don't carry a wallet. I use my phone and my phone only to pay for everything. Everything. It's a really cool feeling. It was scary at first. It wasn't scary. It was more like I would go touch my pocket and I'm like, oh, where's my wallet? Oh, wait, I don't need my wallet. Yeah. So I don't know. It's kind of like that. I don't know if it's that little OCD kicking in or just like me pushing the envelope, seeing how, less I can get, I guess. One thing I'm really crazy about right now is carrying keys around. Keys that unlock your car, unlock your door. Yeah. I mean, why? Why are we still carrying keys?
I have a set of core keys.
Yeah.
That I've got that I carry out and put in my car, because obviously my car you push a button, it starts.
Right.
So I don't really need a key. So I have my fob, a key fob that goes in my pocket.
Right.
But I do still, and that's funny you bring that up, because I was looking at some keys, and I give another funny story is my buddy the other week I was at the beach, and he came down, him and his girlfriend, and I said, look, just stay at one of our places. I said, don't worry. He lives at the beach too, but a different beach. And so I grabbed the keys here, and I got there. It was the wrong damn keys.
Oh no!
But thankfully, I had a key on my key ring.
Oh man.
For that place, because I was like, oh my god, dude, I don't know where you're gonna stay.
Right? I mean, literally. Okay, if we're in the 80s, right? We didn't have cell phones like we do today, right? So, but today, like, think about that. If you didn't have it, you'd have to drive back to wherever you're going. Oh my gosh, I have to go back and get the key. Today, with technology, I mean, we should be able to just open our locks with our phones, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing we're looking at. Like, one of our places putting a keypad thing on.
Yeah.
So I don't have to have it.
Yeah. You should do that, like, today. Like, that should be, like... So what, you're renting out your place now?
No, I don't rent. Just, like... friends or something.
Yeah, for friends. Just give them access. Yeah.
Like
I think it's...
You can't keep our family out of them. Family is dangerous.
Yeah, I know. As soon as your family knows, that's it. That's it. Oh, like, I'm coming. Okay. What would you say has been the hardest thing for you to organize in your business? Because there's a bunch of things, like in real estate. I mean, there's like gobs of stuff.
It's a good question. Tracking mailings actually... used to be I had them all over. You talk about files everywhere.
Right.
I would have files everywhere, and I try to track mailings on a spreadsheet now. And then I have obviously a file with all the mailings in it.
Yeah.
Because I want to know where I mailed. I'm getting the older I get, the less I remember. So I need to not mail something I mailed a month ago.
Yeah.
So I track mailings. That was a big thing. And another thing that really helps me a lot is I have a digital closing whiteboard, because I'm a whiteboard person.
Okay.
I like whiteboard.
Explain that a little bit. What does that mean for you?
So the digital closing whiteboard basically has, who's buying it, their contact information.
Okay.
Has the contract been out and came back?
Mm-hmm.
Do I have the buy contract?
Mm-hmm.
Who's closing it? What type of deal is a double close assignment or whatever?
Okay.
And that title company's contact information.
Okay.
All on a spreadsheet right there where I can see it.
Okay.
And the dates are supposed to close. So I know that if something's coming up or not, I need to know that.
That's a good point. Absolutely. That's a good... Okay, so you do that all on an Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah, in Google Drive. It's all in Google Drive.
That's really interesting, and it's funny how it's interesting how I know I've heard about this a little bit from you before. I didn't know it had all those fields that you put in there. It's very interesting. When I think about some of my closings, I've been doing them on a Google Calendar. Inside the Google Calendar, I use the notes area, and I just kind of fill it up in the notes, and it's all there. But I like your model better. It
keeps it a good snapshot.
Right.
I know what you're talking about. I used to do that, and I kind of got away from it.
Yeah.
It's a good snapshot thing. It's open about every day anyway.
Right.
And I can just look at everything right then and there. I can tell, and it's got a note section if I need to do something, but I can tell if something's missing. Oh, I need to work on that. I need to find out why that contract's not come back. That's thing.
And so when things are closing, just out of curiosity, when things are going to closing, so you look at that spreadsheet like, okay, what's closing soon, right? And you can move a whole cell around up or down if there's a delay or whatever. Do you put any of your closings in your calendar by any chance?
I used to, and I've just gotten lax and I don't.
Okay.
But it seems like since I use a spreadsheet on a pretty regular basis, I don't miss things like I used to. To prompt me to do the calendar.
Okay.
One thing I do also, I'm big into color coding.
Yeah.
Like if there's a problem with the closing, it's highlighted yellow.
Okay.
So I know there's an issue.
Okay.
If everything's good to go, I get the word, hey, we're clear to close. It's green. I know that I don't have to worry about. I know that it's at the point it's good to go. All it is now is just the formality of closing it out.
That's good. Yeah, and you can easily do that in Excel, changing the colors and stuff. That's true.
Yeah.
Excel has so many benefits. It really does. I hate using it, so that's why I've always tried to steer away from it. But it really does. There is a point where it's like, oh yeah, this works. One thing Sarah's asking is, can you make a Google Sheet link directly to your Google Calendar? Sarah, I'm gonna tell you this. More than likely you can. I don't know if it's directly within their softwares, but I will tell you this. There is either two tools that you can probably use to make that happen. Number one is called Zapier, Zapier. If they can't do it, which I'm sure they can, you could check out what's called If This Then That, which is spelled If This Then That, ITT.com, I think it is. I'm typing it out and confirming. Yeah, IFTTT.com can also do it. They've changed quite a bit over the years. And I don't even use them anymore. I just stick with Zapier. You could check IFTTT.com. Otherwise, I would bet if you could go to Zapier first, you will probably have that solution figured out right through Zapier. Zapier it's amazing what it does. I mean, it's used in almost every software that's out there is using it.
I know enough to be dangerous about Zapier, but that thing can connect so many things for you and make your life easy.
Yeah.
And it may be that, like for me, looking at Zapier, I'm going to call one of my VAs and see what VA I've got that knows Zapier and let them link everything. I don't need to learn it.
Yeah. That's very true. And actually, there's a video that I have here that I did some time ago, but I will actually post it in the group so you can see, because it's actually like a little walkthrough tutorial about how to use Zapier. But if you're gonna hire someone to do it, make sure they've done it before, because like Mike's saying, like it's important that they have that experience, like Mike is saying. Really good, and I think they connect to over 2,000 apps, and it's basically, it really is like having an assistant work for you. But
it's a digital assistant.
It's a digital assistant. Exactly. It's a digital assistant. And it's awesome. I mean, it just like takes out all those little tasks. As soon as one thing happens, you can make another thing happen automatically without even doing the work. It's pretty impressive. Yeah. Zapier is a godsend. Yeah. Whoever thought of that.
I am a spreadsheet person. I just like them. They just do. I'm old school, checking everything. But
literally check.
yeah. But this is an inside joke for everybody. But you saw how quick my check got to our other business friend. That was quick.
That was like, dude, it's in the same state. Of course it's going to get there quick. It's like a drive.
Got there as quick as your PayPal.
Dude, that's like a drive over there, like 2 hours. Come on. I got there in one day. No kidding. It's a drive. Oh, man. No, I don't know how you do it, though. I really don't know how.
So... another thing that can keep you straight is, and not to hit on a bunch of them, but I know Sarah and I had this conversation this past week, and as your business grows and you start getting multiple properties that you're getting in, you got to track that stuff.
That's so true.
And you can track some stuff on spreadsheets. I have snapshot spreadsheets. I track stuff, but
you what?
It's simple.
Say that again.
Like, I have spreadsheets that are kind of like a snapshot.
Oh, a snapshot.
Of all properties I got under contract.
Okay. Yeah.
But at some point, you need to look at some of these CRMs out here that may work for you. And you always bring up a good point, and I try to share this with folks too. Most CRM out there will give you a 2-week trial period at least.
Yeah.
Try them out. Play with them.
Yeah.
You don't have to dump all your files in it, but look and see if it's something that works for you.
Exactly. Yeah, the best thing you can do, and I give this advice to everybody, because I'm like a software nut. Like, I will test anything out. And you just put it on whatever card, just keep that, make sure you always know that card's the card you put subscriptions on, whatever. And mark the calendar. And speaking of CRM softwares and whatnot, I recently just went through the demo, and I know this is kind of popular for one of our groups here, is the Pebble Pebble CRM.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like,
the jury's still out.
Jury's still out. I went through the demo, and I personally have not gone through the free trial, but I told them I need to go through the free trial, test it out, feel it out. And that's important for everybody. Everybody needs to you need to test it out, play with it, see if you like the UI. The UI is the user interface. If you like the design, that's like some people prefer Microsoft Word over Excel. Why? Because the user interface, they're different. One is a word processor. Well, they both have word processing capacity, but they're formatted differently. So you have to know what works best for you, and software has to be tested. So it's really important. But that whole system, and I think finding a good software to use for a CRM is really important, because it saves you a lot of time and headache. You can just go to that one source all the time for tracking. And
it's good if you've got VAs working for you. You can give their own logins with the CRM, and most CRMs, you can track what your VAs are doing in it too by their login.
Yeah.
And it gives you another centralized place to look at everything.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, and that's always good if you have multiple users on an account. Yeah, that's exactly. You definitely want that for your VAs. Sarah's saying, do you guys know anything about Mojo? My VA said a lot of investors she works with uses it. Yeah, so Mojo Dialer, Mike, I don't know, you remember back in the day, I don't know if we simultaneously used it at the same time, but I've used it. It's primarily used in the single family house market. I wouldn't even know. For me, it's been so many years, I wouldn't even know if that would work on Sarah's business. What do you think? It's been a while for you or what?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you the last time I did anything with it. Mm-hmm. It's something you could try, Sarah. I mean, what may work for you may not necessarily work for me, but it doesn't mean that it's not a good product.
Yeah, one of the things I know about Mojo is I remember for acquisitions, or sales, right? It's basically for people who are on the phone all the time, because it is a dialer at the end of the day.
It's a dialer.
Yeah, it's definitely a dialer. And one of the things I'm trying to just jump into the features that might work best, but I remember they added some new things, like they can do skip tracing in there, which might be depending on how much skip tracing you're doing. At the end of the day, it's a dialer. And so if you plan on calling a lot of people, like outbound calling, then that would be a solution. If you're taking a lot of inbound calls, it could be a solution. So I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But
I try to stay off the phone as much as possible.
Yeah.
With my buyers and sell. I'm one of these people that prefer to communicate email or text or whatever with my buyers and stuff. It just mainly because it tracks the conversation and I can see what I've told them. We can kind of track our conversation back on things.
Mm-hmm.
So the documentation.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a bunch out there. I'd say probably like 5 or 6 that are really popular. But again, it's finding which one is great for you. Like some people just love Podio. They love Podio.
Yeah.
I can't touch Podio.
I tried to give, I don't know, maybe maybe don't know. Earlier this year, I tried to give Podio another chance.
Yeah,
I thought, maybe I had my VA did all this work. He set it up purely custom, exactly the way I wanted it, to the T. Did a great job. And I felt so bad because I used it 2 weeks, and I said, no, not me. Appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy.
Glad that you got compensated on doing all that work, but I'm trashing it. It just wasn't me. It's too robust.
Yeah,
I didn't like
it. It's something that first of all, it's project management software. Okay, and it's something that a bunch of real estate people in the industry knew they could customize it, and they did that. But what they failed to tell a lot of people is the person that was using it in their office was an IT person. That's the reality of it. And if you take someone who's not experienced in IT or project management and you put them into Podio, you say, here, use this. Good luck. Good luck. I don't care.
'Cause it's not going to switch, phases on its own.
It's not.
You got to manually put it in.
Yeah, it's really tricky. So Sarah asks, Nathan, how do you send offers digitally? Oh, it's magic. Yeah, it's magic. How are you? Have you gone over this before somewhere else that I should refer to? Yeah, we actually go over this in the members area. We actually did like 2 or 3 videos on this, on how we do it. And there's a video in there on how we do it. But basically all the offers are digitally. It's just, email, and we use software called HelloSign. So we don't, wait, was this offers? Yeah, offers. Okay. Yeah, all the offers are digital. So we use HelloSign and emails. That's it. All digital. Now, I don't know. The verdict's still out. I'll give you an example. There's a verdict still out. When I say verdict, but it's all about testing to see what works best for your organization. Like we had this conversation with Donald the other day where he's been dropping postcards. And that came up in conversation like, oh, should I use postcards? Well, you have to test it. You have to see what works. Some people, digital offers might not work well for you. Some people work really well. I remember one of our clients that we had like last year, she wrote every letter. That was her thing. She wrote, not every letter, I'm sorry. She wrote on every envelope. She self-addressed it, right? And that was her thing, to get a higher open rate. And she had a very high open rate. It depends what you're trying to do. Yeah, it's up to you. What's your take on digital offers, Mike? Because I know you're still on. You do paper offers.
I do the mail thing, but we've compared. I mean, you do digital, I do mail. We both get deals.
Yeah.
So they both work. I think sometimes maybe if it's an older generation, they like the mail thing a little bit better. But your younger generation and as people are using. Also, the digital thing, the big thing is the cost savings.
Yeah.
In just stamps and mailing it back out offers. Now, I will tell you one thing I did, and I just did it on 6 or 7 special second offers, so to speak, that I did this week. I actually I did hand do those, the envelopes. I handwrote them out just because I wanted them. They were unique offers, and I wanted to make sure that they did get open again. And with my handwriting, you're going to open it.
Yeah.
You're going to think, what in the world?
Yeah. They'd open up mine like, who wrote this? Like, what does this say? Yeah. And that's a good point you bring up, because it does, handwritten letters do get a higher open rate. They do take a lot longer to write, of course, if you're doing a bunch of them. But they do work. That's the truth. And there was something else I was going to mention, but it just spaced my mind. I don't know if it was about handwriting letters. I forgot. It'll come back to me.
That the great thing about this business, Nathan, is there's more than one way to get to your goal in this business.
Yeah. And
it's flexible. Do what works best for you. Now, some things I do because it is a better way. I could do it a different way and it'd be easier for me, but it yields me a better yield. My yield rate's better.
Yeah.
But make it work for you. That's what this is all about, and that's the good thing about this business. At least it's been my experience. I can play around with things, and once your business gets going, and you're not desperately trying to get a first couple deals, but you've got them under your belt, then you can play a little bit more. You can manipulate the system because you're not hinging on every mailer so much.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point. Especially if you're dripping them out over time. Donald says, hey guys, when do y'all decide to buy the county list when investing in the county? Mike, I'll let you do that one.
One good thing is a lot of times, a lot of counties don't charge you. Some do, but it's a small amount. Usually after my test mailer. If I do a test mailer and it's decent, and by test mailer I do at least a minimum of 1,000, sometimes more. But if I'm gonna go in that county and do it, I'm gonna do it right. I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna get the whole list.
Yeah.
Give it to my VA. Get everything separated. Do my out of states first, then come in state and do it all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I just kind of jump feet first in it. If it's one that's kind of so-so, then I may use something like Agent Pro to pull, out of state leads if I don't really want to get real deep. Maybe I'm not sold completely on that county, so that may be an option as well.
I know for that we ended up just buying the list, the whole thing, and scrub it. That's been our way. We just, here we go, get the whole thing, let's go for it. I know that's been our method. One of the things though that it came back to me going back to the digital offers is, we've gotten a bunch under contract that way. And when I remember talking about, you said the older population. This is what I wanted to add is, when you do have an older population, you are going to want to like put it in, a letter format and all that, and just cater to that audience, right? Cater to the person. However, the good thing with COVID, another good thing with COVID is that it's allowed people to be more digital now and expect to be digital than ever before. And there's been a lot of progress on a federal and state level to now do electronic signing of documents, especially now mortgages, and it's growing in popularity now, which is fantastic. So, and then as the next generation gets a little older and starts buying property, it's going to become a normal thing for them. E-signing is part of their everyday life right now. And then as they buy property, it's just going to grow even more. So I would say if I were you, start making some strides in that direction, but test it and see what works better for you. Is it electronic offers or digital offers? Because me personally, I've been doing digital offers. We haven't gone physical offers unless it was a senior citizen that needed it. So we're not split testing anymore. We've made a decision and said, okay, digital offers only. This is the way we run the business. Does that make sense?
And I like that you said that. You made a decision.
Yeah.
You got off the fence.
Yeah.
And you said, you know what? This is the way I'm going to run my business.
Exactly.
And that's what, don't flip-flop back and forth.
Right.
You can test it a little bit, but once you make a decision, go with your decision.
Yeah. And that's that part about building the business the way you want. Like, for example, in our marketing, what we do is we design it so that they follow our funnel, our system, and we say, hey, for faster service, go here. For to talk to someone, call this number. We're directing them to take certain actions to follow our method. So when it comes to like e-signing, we already condition them. Hey, we're whatever you want to call it, clean and safe. We are COVID friendly. We are, practicing COVID laws. We do everything digitally, right? We're a digital happy company, right? Whatever you want to say it. But if you start conditioning your buyers or your sellers that way, then guess what? They're going to already start thinking that way because now you've brought them into your funnel, the way you do your process in your business. So again, just going back to that, that's the way what we decided. That's the way we want to run the business. And we will find the right people that will go through that funnel, that portal in that way. And it, helps us run our business that way.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Donald says, thanks. Well, you're welcome there, Donald. Yep, no problem. All right. Other than that, I don't know if anybody else has any other questions, but we are getting down to the wire here. We are cutting down to the wire. One thing, though, if there's any other questions, Mike, I just remembered, speaking of documents and contracts, but if anybody has any other questions, let us know in the comments below. But I will tell you this. Do you remember that 7-unit? Excuse me. Do you remember that 7-unit I was telling you about some time ago? Yeah. So it's 7-unit. It could change into an 11-unit.
Yeah.
They accepted my offer.
Sweet.
Congrats. Yeah, man. It went back and forth. Before COVID, the offer was $400,000. Currently, the owner has fallen ill, but he already transferred the property to his children a year ago. But now he's now ill and on his way out. He's 93. Okay. And and he was living in the 4 units of the property. Okay, he was taking up 4 units for some odd reason. So
that's what you call a penthouse,
right? Yeah, exactly. And so I made a new offer for $350. Yeah, and that was like a hard no. And I was like, okay, well, how about $370? And it was, let's talk about it. They came back with $380, and that was my strike price. I said $375, $380. That's my strike price. So we came in and we agreed at $380. So we're moving forward with that one.
But pre-COVID price was what?
The pre-COVID price was $450 with.
So you saved $70,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, market price was $450, and then we had a different negotiation with the first offer before COVID. It was a verbal offers. Verbal. It was $400 plus more for furniture. Okay, because furniture is included. So it was going to be like $415, something like $410. It was back and forth. Then COVID hit, so everything stopped, all the verbal negotiations, and then finally we put it down for $380. So yeah, that's it's really interesting because it's affordable housing in a very middle to upper scale area. And everybody wants to live there because the beach is like a 5-minute walk. So
there you have.
Yeah, it's not that bad. It's great. So
how much are you selling the units for?
Yeah. Actually, this is a long-term hold, man. Interesting enough, though, I don't know if you knew this, but I don't know if I told you this, but here in Portugal, commercial loans only last 12 years. Yeah. So it changes.
What happens after 12 years?
It's paid off.
It's paid off.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Paid off, and but the loan term is only 10 or 12 years. They don't, so you have to make sure your cash flow is there to cover that mortgage.
Yeah, none of that 30-40 year US
right, exactly. So
that's good that it forces you to be able to really cash flow that thing, pay it off early. You may be lean a few years, but it's going to pay off in the long run.
Here's the good thing, though. So even at current market rents at $300, so it's on the low end. Again, this is affordable housing in a more. The average rent in this market is $650, $700 for a 2-bedroom. These are 1-bedrooms. I know I can get $450 for these because they're fully furnished. Okay, it's under market value right now, and the gentleman, the owner, okay, was taking up most of the units. So there was definitely a value add there. And I can add 2 other units, okay? So so all that's happening, and then I can increase the rents to about 100 euros more, even 100 euros. But even the way it's at right now, the thing cash flows the way it is, even including debt service, capital expenses, everything. So now it's just kicking it up a little higher. You can make even more money. So which is great. But anyway, I wanted to let you know that because they did accept. So that was cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. Lastly, last one. Sarah says, where do you say or write all that stuff?
What stuff?
What stuff? What stuff? What were we talking about? Stuff. What stuff were we talking about?
We say it on our show here.
Yeah. I was gonna say, what? Sarah, let us know what stuff you're talking about, and then we'll get that answered for you. But I can't remember. It's gonna bother me. Anyway, what do you what's cooking for you this week? And then we'll close it up. We'll wrap it up.
Pretty busy week. Trying to wrap up some things. I got probably a property may close this week, and then I've got everything pushed off because I'll be out of town the following week for another week. But I'm trying to get some offers in the mail and things, and also maybe a mailer out before I leave. That way, when I come back broke, that I'll have something coming in.
Come back broke. That's funny, man.
Right, charter a daggone boat. I may need some money.
That's funny. Yeah. Well, that's gonna be really good. That's good. You got some stuff cooking. Sarah says, conditioning your buyer to sign digitally. Where do you say I'll write that stuff? Oh, in an email. In an email,
Yeah.
if you're talking about your
And
buyer.
you've got a cool little video that you send out.
I do.
That walks them through it.
Yeah, and that's all that. All of that is in the members area. I'm almost 100% certain it's all there. Makes me now second.
Sarah's a player now. She's
Oh yeah, yeah. She's like, oh, that means
gotten all that stuff. Now.
yeah.
She's a player.
Yeah, she's like, oh, that members area. Yeah. I'm beyond that. I'm on level 2.0 now. Yeah, but it's all in email, and I can send you some of that more stuff specifically, Sarah. Not a problem. But good stuff, Mike. It's been great. It's been fun.
Absolutely.
And we'll see you soon. Have a great week.